Good day, and welcome to the Frontline Chatter podcast brought to you by the World of EUC. I am your host, Jarian Gibson, and I am here today with majority of our board. And we are going to talk about our thoughts on World of EUC for 2025 and also some looking forward ahead to 2026. So before we get started, how are you doing today, Janna?
Um, I'm making it. Can't wait till the end of the year, wrapping up, and this has been a really good year for us, I believe.
Great, good to hear. And then our friend from the north, Stephen, how are you doing today?
No, I'm doing great. It's a little bit chilly up here. You know, the snow started a couple months ago, but hanging in there and surviving, getting a little bit of U.S. travel in every once in a while. But I'm doing fantastic.
Great to hear. And then Sean, a little less north, how are you doing today?
I'm good, Jarian. And it's my kind of sort of last working day of the year. So yeah,
Oh,
it's great.
great that you decide to share it with us.
Well, to be fair, it's not like it's a lot. So,
Mm. I think
Well,
I'm the most southern part board member since
yeah,
I'm in
Yeah.
Tennessee.
yeah, I think I'm the most central. I think maybe me and Sean are kind of battling for that one.
I'm, yeah. Well, no, you're the most central. Like you're like almost like midpoint of the country.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. True. As far as country. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, we are the majority of the board of the World of EUC. I am Jarian Gibson. I am the chair. Sean Massey is the vice chair. Stephen and Janna are board directors, and our finance chair is out probably somewhere trying to make the money. Patrick Coble. So we'll see if he pops in or not. But for now, it is going to be the four of us. Um, let's go ahead and kind of go around and let's talk about our thoughts on 2025 as a whole for the World of EUC. And we will go with Janna first.
I feel like there's been more talk, more engagement. I feel bad that I missed the EC World this year. So I didn't get to, experience firsthand all the exciting things that occurred. So I'll be living vicariously through y'all. But a lot of chatter about EUC in general, and a lot more engagement with, the community. But I expect that we're going to get bigger and even better for next year.
And Stephen, what are your thoughts on 2025?
Oh, it's been a good year. You know, the highlight of the year for me was EUC World 2025, which was a huge hit. We had everyone out. It was a great venue. We'll get into that more later. Now, other than that, the communities, we've got the local meetups going on. We had a couple here in Calgary, which Raheem and I have hosted, which turned out really well. We had some amazing sponsors come in, Omnissa and Hewlett Packard Enterprise. It's been great on Slack. You know, everyone's been helping each other out. With the technology that I specialize with, Omnissa, there's been a whole bunch of chatter. Everyone's all stoked and excited about the new versions. So it's just a whole lot of community love and community support. And just wrapping up the year. Really excited to see what happens with 2026.
What are your thoughts, Sean?
I kind of agree with Stephen and Janna. We've had a great year. We had, like Stephen said, a great EUC World in Minneapolis this year. And it's like the EUC industry in general, right? Like last year when we got started, there was a lot of change going on with, Citrix, being, I don't know if acquired's the right word, but they had a lot of changes going on with everything going on with their business, to the Omnissa spin out from Broadcom / VMware, to just a lot of opportunities for new entrants or existing companies to kind of make their mark. This year it felt a lot more calm. A lot of that change has had a year to bake. there's still change going on. There's still a lot of change in the industry, but it doesn't seem as prevalent. And I think that gave us an opportunity to, to grow in a lot of ways. We had our biggest event ever with EUC World in Minneapolis. We had a lot of great sponsors. We had a lot of great partners. We had a lot of great conversations. And I think our trajectory is only going to go up, right? We are, next year's EUC World is going to be bigger. It's going to be better. And that's what I'm most looking forward to.
Yeah, I would agree too. I think we had a solid year this year for 2025. Amplify in Minneapolis, was great. I was fortunate enough to bring my son with me and him be able to experience that and help out a little bit. So it was good. He is kind of bummed that we're going back to our normal window of time. So he'll be in school again. So can't make that trip with me. But yes, it was a really good growth year. There was some, still some change in the market in the EUC space. There was some settling in the market, Omnissa, I feel like this year was kind of like their settling in year after the spin out last year. And Omnissa won, that I was able to be at with Stephen, and Sean was there as well. I felt that was a great event they had there. So it was great to see the community and them settle in. It seems like the folks from Parallels were out there a lot too in the community as well, seeing them around our events and the different events, and just love seeing all the community interaction. Doing some things that we've done, like with trying to bring in the younger crowd, have them on the panel at EUC World, Amplify, be able to get them kind of introduced to the community. And hopefully we can continue that with bringing some of the next generation in, kind of passing the torch. So from that aspect, it was pretty good. I know some of our groups, we're still trying to work through that, but Stephen's up there in Calgary has been a pretty strong group. The one ran by Johnny Ma out in Denver has been a pretty strong group as well. So only hoping to build on that and look as we retool things for 2026. I think everything that as a board, we work great together, working with our team, management team with Kelly and Jen and George, and then also to some of our community advisors that have helped out. So only thing we can do here is go onward and upward.
Yeah. And actually, if I can jump in too, we have to make sure that I know that this is a community and everyone comes together to build that community. But we would like to really thank our sponsors and the partners that were able to make all this happen, both World of EUC and EUC World. And I know that Jarian, you just mentioned a couple, but we're talking about Liquidware, Nutanix, Tenzig, iGel, Nerdio, Omnissa, Citrix, Stratadesk, NVIDIA, Aporto, AWS, Dision, Google, Login VSI, and last but not least, Parallels. Long list there, but again, thank you for making this happen. Thank you for supporting the community, and we know that you're helping us make this happen. So thank you.
Yeah, so I just like to echo that as well. Thank you for all support. Our sponsors for Amplify, our early sponsors for the World of EUC, everyone who was able to come out and participate. Even on the keynotes that we had that went into kind of extra time with kind of like the CTO type keynote that we had at Amplify. I thought that was a great conversation to have some of the big names and the industry up there. So yeah, I just want to thank them for all the support again. Thank you to all the community as well. It's great to seeing everybody at the event, everyone interacting with in the Slack channels, everyone just working out there in the community, and then just all the community events that are out there as well, to kind of round out this entire community. So congratulations to those communities and their events also as well that they've had this year.
So,
kind of going on, dialing in, we talked a little about EUC World 2025. Does anyone have any additional thoughts on that or anything else they're thinking about? And I'll start with Sean first on this one.
Yeah, so I think last year for EUC World 2024, right, we had a really cool venue, but it was kind of a throwback and, changing of the guard from the old school Bri Forum to something new, something run by a new group of leaders. This year, I think we really took the event, though, and we ran with it. we made it our own. We had one heck of a venue in the McNamara Center on the University of Minnesota campus in Minneapolis. It was definitely one of the more unique venues that I have ever been in. Right, there was one of our breakout rooms that literally had a copy of every PhD that somebody at the University of Minneapolis or Minnesota ran or wrote. So that was like a really cool thing. Great location, uh, great speakers. Jarian mentioned the keynotes. I think the keynotes were some of the highlights. And I realized I'm going to go through this list and I'm going to take away, anything else that Stephen might have to add. So, Stephen, I'm going to hand this over to you for a second before I steal all the thunder.
No, you summed it up. And actually, like I kind of chatted about that a little bit when I was speaking earlier. It's just been great. It's been tons of fun. Janna?
I couldn't really say since I wasn't there, but
You're there in spirit, though.
I appreciate y'all. Hopefully I was missed.
We're talking more about the community in general, though, not just the event, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad that I'm in a community that I can just, send out, a help signal, and somebody will automatically, reach out, and respond and try to uh, give some type of support, feedback, or even if they don't know, they will point me in the right direction. So it's definitely a very engaged community, and that's just something that a lot of people kind of lack on where to go to find that level of support.
Yeah, I'd agree too as well. Just, all the interaction out there, everyone helping each other out, being able to reach out, phone a friend, all those different things that you can do to kind of help out in the community, especially those that are very active in the Slack channels as well. The other thing too, I know Sean mentioned the location. I love Minneapolis. I lived there for a short period of time before moving to Kansas City. It was great to be at the McNamara Center, the Graduate Hotel. I thought the vibe and the atmosphere was really good also. So, that's definitely something that we're going to have on our rotation list as we go through cities. One of the things that we are, looking at is kind of having, that list and as we kind of do a rotation around different areas. So we know a lot of people wanted to go back to Minneapolis. We know some also wanted to look at other areas. So I think I'll just say this now for 2026. We are going to Milwaukee, Wisconsin next year. So not too far away, still in that upper Midwest area. But a new venue, a new location. I know I've been in Milwaukee for other events, and it's a nice town to be in, especially in that area we're going to be at. And so that's going to be September 29th through October 1st for that one. Also, too, we are going to have our first virtual Amplify event earlier in the year as well. That is going to be April 29th. If you're interested, the call for topics and the super, super early bird registration are both open. So if you want to present, whether virtual, in person, or both, make sure you go ahead and submit your topic. And then if you're looking to take advantage of the cheapest price for the event, try to get that in as soon as possible. So we are looking forward to seeing everyone there. I'm looking forward to be back in Milwaukee again. And I'm also looking forward to where we end up going, the next location for 2027. We do a lot of research on locations. I think all of us spent plenty of time looking at different cities and venues and trying to find the right location. So any of our listeners out there in the community know other cities and good locations that can kind of help with the format that we like, and that if you've been to Amplify and seen how we do it, definitely feel free to reach out and give us some ideas on those locations and cities. So I'll go to Sean here next because he's in there itching to say something.
Yeah, I'm just kind of sitting on my hands here. So before I go into my other point, when we talk about cities or venues, right, we are looking at expanding Amplify in 2027, maybe on the other side of an ocean or two. So if you know of good cities or venues that we should look at for 2027, please let us know as well. But, I'm really excited about 2026 because, I live in Wisconsin. Milwaukee's only like hour and a half ish, depending on how fast I drive away. And the location we're going to do it at, it's the Baird Center. I've been there for a few things, for like VMUG user cons and stuff like that. You're like right in the heart of Milwaukee. And the best part of Milwaukee is not just the venue, but also like you can't swing a dead cat without finding a place to get together and socialize, for the after hours track. So, there's a lot of really cool places downtown. There's a lot of cool restaurants, a lot of cool social establishments, shall we say, for adult beverages. And it's a great, it's going to be great. If you've never presented at a conference before, this is a great place to do it for the first time. Definitely submit for the call for papers. If you have some expertise in something, submit for the call for papers. This is a great place to do your first presentation. Last year, we had one person who did their first ever big conference presentation, a friend of Stephen's. We made sure they were supported, that they, had mentorship if they wanted it. We helped them with their abstract. So reach out to the board, reach out on Slack, but we definitely want you to submit. So Jarian, you wanted to jump back in?
Yeah, just two things real quick, just to piggyback on what you said. And I offered this last year, I'll offer it again this year. Anyone who's a first-time presenter who wants to co-present, I'll be happy to do that with you, to help you with that. Also, too, like Sean said, take advantage of the board, the community, the people out there to help you mentor or to help you just review your content, and so forth. If you want to be a first-time presenter, I know it's always a good idea the first time to co-present. That's what I did my first time years ago at Bryform. So, that kind of helps with some of the nerves and the anxiety when you kind of have someone out there with you. So just offering that again to anyone out there in the community, just let me know. I'll be happy to do that. The one thing though, I was going to ask Sean, since you're most familiar with the area, any traveling tips for those traveling in, whether it's flying into Milwaukee, flying maybe to O'Hare possibly, and, taking a ride up? Do you have any travel tips for those going to be coming into Milwaukee?
Oh, that's a really good question. So if you're flying into Milwaukee itself, you can grab a train to get downtown. And from there, it's not too far to the hotel. I don't know what the price is though, from the airport to downtown. Cause I've never actually had to do that train ride before. If you're coming up from O'Hare though, that could be a little bit more challenging. You'd probably have to rent a car. The expressway from O'Hare to downtown Milwaukee is, there's a joke. Nobody goes 90 or nobody goes 94 on I-94. So, if you're not from the area, you're not used to big city driving. If you're from Germany, I think you'll be fine. Let's put it that way.
Right at home.
Yeah. So, definitely take some time though. If this is your first time coming to Milwaukee, to check out the city. There's a really cool art museum right along the lake. It's the art museum's right along the lake. There's a bunch of breweries you can take tours of. I believe Miller still has a brewery tour for their plant in Milwaukee. Those can always be a good time. Unless you're European, in which case then don't take the brewery tour, because your beer puts us to shame.
Stephen, any thoughts on the 2026 event or anything?
The event or just 2026 in general?
Either.
Oh, I could go for a while on this one. 2025 was a solid year, and there's a lot to be done. And, with some of our board meetings, we've got a lot cooking for 2026. The events are going to be bigger. We're going to try to get those local groups larger. And we've got some new sponsors coming into the mix, potentially can't say too much about that. But no, I think it's a perfect opportunity to bring more of the younger generation in. I know that I talked about this quite a bit last year, and I might be a broken record, but I want to make sure that everyone knows this isn't the old boys and gals club. This is, we're trying to bring in new people. We're trying to bring in new talent. We're on a mission to get some more Microsoft related content. So hint, hint, nudge, nudge to any of the Microsoft pros out there or any MVPs. With the CFP being open, now's the time to apply. You will have the stage, most likely. That's not a guarantee, but we're trying to get that content up. And so, it's a whole new year where we can expand the content basis, the people that are coming into the community. I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, and not just if you're a Microsoft MVP or a Microsoft focused professional, but if you're doing anything EUC related or EUC adjacent, right? EUC as a space is huge, right? I think when we started this, a lot of people thought, oh, EUC, that's VDI. But, we're trying to make sure we're bringing in the device management, the modern endpoint management type stuff, right? There's a huge piece around security that, people are asking for. Identity management, that's all EUC focused, right? So if you're doing anything in those spaces, whether it's interesting or you want to just, talk about something that you're finding in your environment or how you solve the problem using any of those technologies, we want you to apply. Microsoft focused, Omnissa, Citrix, CrowdStrike, any of those other technologies, Okta, right? Anything like that, apply, submit to the CFP.
Janna?
Yeah. And I'd like to reiterate what Stephen had mentioned about the younger generation, like bringing in the young bloods, fresh blood to technology, EUC, in general. Just want to make sure that we are able to focus on mentoring the younger generation, because they're going to be following us afterwards. So we want to be mindful of that and building on that, the knowledge and what we have planned for the younger generation, and seeing what we can do with them on that.
Yeah, and to add on that too, I hope we do some of the things too. Like last year, we had the scholarships where we were able to bring some of those, I think 3 or 4 people into Amplify in Minneapolis to go ahead and continuing that in Milwaukee at Amplify as well. Looking at those graduating, looking at those just coming into the field, basically kind of passing that torch, paying it forward, kind of like the same that we were done, when we started coming into the field. The other thing too is on topics as well. I believe we had a couple Mac ones last year. Also, looking at things around Mac OS, Jamf, all those different things. Because like Sean said, EUC is not just VDI and app virtualization. So hopefully, we're looking forward to people getting some different topics out there, expanding. I know there's been a lot of chat around AI and EUC and some of the new GPUs that can help you kind of use the same card for the different workloads, kind of, back to that idea of, EUC by day, AI by night type of stuff. So looking to see how we're doing that and shifting workloads and just building that out. I know when we had the uncomp side, there were some great discussions in the community. So looking forward to continuing that as well. Also, too, congrats again to Steve Greenberg for our award this year, for our community award. And the form is open for any submissions you want to do as well. So we're looking forward to doing that again at Amplify in Milwaukee. So if you have a community hero out there and someone who's doing a lot in the community, make sure you nominate them, because we're going to be doing that award again this year. And it's basically going to be a yearly staple in the world of EUC. I think Sean had some stuff there about Youngblood coming back in. So,
oh no, that was more of a note to myself in the chat to
okay.
follow up with somebody. But if you are in Wisconsin or Northern Illinois, or even like Iowa or like anywhere in that area, and you are a student or if you are a professor teaching IT or computer topics, pass this info on to your students. You're not going to find a better value for your students to connect with IT professionals and learn from people who have been in the field for a number of years.
Kind of taking a side note there, going back to what we're looking forward to in 2026. Another thing I like to do is being more present at other events. I know in 2024 we were at iGel's event. I know this year I think we weren't as out there at other events for us. I know we did like the companion event in Vegas with some of our sponsors, but looking forward to seeing the World of EUC back out there at those other community events as well, and giving that support to those as they're supporting us. So yeah, that's one other things I want to see in 2026. Also, too, to see what we can do to kind of reshape or retool the local groups, to kind of grow those and to kind of get some more traction on those. I know everyone got comfortable with not doing the local groups, with some things that changed in the community along with, the pandemic and stuff. But it'd be good to, have those local groups again and get those people back out there in those meetups, whether it's just conversations, whether it's any kind of collaboration, that kind of stuff, because I think that's where a lot of good conversations happen, is in those local groups that we can kind of move forward into their yearly events as well.
Yeah. And, one more thing, talking about 2026, we've had a couple of announcements on LinkedIn. But if you take a look at our website, we have some of our 2026 sponsors listed. And so, we thanked the 2025 sponsors before, but I just want to mention these. We've got our premier founding partners, Liquidware, Nerdio, and Nutanix. We have Parallels as our 2026 premium sponsor. We have Tenzig as our 2026 gold founding partner. And we also have Login VSI as our 2026 silver sponsors. So thank you for making next year happen.
And then kind of
Yes.
speaking of next year, we did do a different change in how we do our sponsorships for World of EUC. So, typically we would have our yearly sponsors and then, look at the sponsors for the Amplify event. We kind of changed that to a single tier or a single package. So when they sign up for the yearly sponsorship, we kind of tweaked that to where it also has the Amplify sponsorship as well, whether it's the virtual, the in-person, or both, depending on the tier they pick. So any ones you see for those events, those are going to be our yearly sponsors for the year. And again, like Stephen said, thank you for the support. Looking forward to the other sponsors coming back or the ones we add next year as we're still going through those conversations. But again, thank you for all the support. Thank you for supporting the community.
Yes. Round of applause.
Actually, you want to do a round of applause? We can do this.
And we got the soundboard?
Yeah, I got the soundboard.
Oh. Ah.
Or do the clap too. So thank you again to all those. And then just to reiterate our 2025 sponsors, thank you again to them for all support. Our founding partners who have been with us since we did the change with the World of EUC. So our founding partners, Tenzig, Goliath Technologies, iGel, Liquidware, Omnissa, Nerdio, and Nutanix. Our channel sponsor, Choice Solution, and then our Choice Solutions. And then this year, our core sponsors, we added Google and Parallel. So thank you for all the support from the founding partners and our channel founding sponsor from the beginning. And thank you to our core sponsors that came on from 2025 as well. So thank you again for all the support there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, I guess the list that I read off earlier was actually the event list and not the full sponsor list. So thank you for saving me on that one.
No worries. We're all here working together. See, that's how we do with the board. We're all here supporting each other.
And
go ahead, Janna.
I'm sorry.
You're fine.
And that's another thing that I wanted to make sure that we, have, mentioned out here is that they're giving the board members that's very active I appreciate, Jarian doing all of the blogs, the webinars. Those are amazing, awesome. Stephen, Sean, y'all are like boots on the ground, getting, all of the, the vibes, the things that needs to be discussed out there, getting us all on track of what we need to talk about, who we need to talk to, things like that. And of course, Patrick not being here, but he's the one that is running the money. He's trying to find all that funds so that we can continue to be who we are and continue to grow. So I want to shout out kudos to the rest of my board members. I appreciate y'all.
We appreciate
and to you as well, Janna. We appreciate everything that you do too. So thank you very much.
I also want to send a shout out to our management team behind the scenes. So George, Jen, and Kelly, they do a lot of work behind the scenes, working with the vendors and the sponsors, the venues, all those things, all that coordination that happens behind the scenes, the webinars, that kind of stuff. So a big shout out to them. They put a lot of work in and help us out a lot. And we wouldn't be able to do this without them. So I want to make sure that we thank them. And Jen was our first community award winner at Amplify in 2024, with Steve being the winner this year in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So, thank you, everyone. Also, too, thank you to all the speakers as well. We know, putting a session together and taking time out of your schedule. So we appreciate all the speakers who come in and those who even just submit a session, taking the idea and looking at that. So thank you to that, all the conversations we have, all the feedback we get, all the local leaders as well who are doing those local groups. So all those who help make community great, thank you. And we look forward to the continued support and momentum. Kind of taking a step back, anything you think that we can do better building into 2026 that, we may not have done in 2025? And I'll go with Stephen first on this one.
More Microsoft. I said it before, I'll say it again. Just if anyone's hearing this is like the bat signal going out. Please come on in. You have a home.
That's it?
Be like Godfather, come.
Yeah. No, I think 2026 is going to be pretty good. I was going to say a word that has an expletive in it. I decided not to, but I'll just say pretty good. It's going to be pretty good.
Janna?
I mean, as far as we always have room for improvement. It's going to be always continuous thing. So, I mean, we've got to improve on, making our events bigger, better for the people that wants to attend. And we want to make sure that we are, having that for the people that we intend for them to come to. We want to make sure we're getting the right audience. And that's something we need to address, constantly,
Sean?
Yeah, so I think when we started up in 2024, we had a couple of community webinars and community podcasts that we were doing that in the shuffle of the first two EUC worlds and getting local groups going, we kind of let those fall off a little bit. We had a home lab series where we kind of talked about, building a home lab and how to use a home lab and, how that aligns with what we're doing for EUC World, World of EUC. I think that kind of content should come back. And, in addition to the podcast we're doing with our sponsors and partners, also, trying to get more community voices on Frontline Chatter as well. I think those are two great ways that we can, continue to grow World of EUC and bring more people in as we go through next year. Especially the Home Lab podcast, because one of the things we were able to launch this year is our benefits program. Right now, Liquidware at the time of this podcast recording is, the main partner that's involved in the benefits program, where when you apply, you can get access to home lab licenses of Profile Unity and FlexApp and Stratosphere UX, and also access to Command Control, which is their kind of SaaS-based monitoring solution. So having having those programs that you can use in your home lab is kind of like an EUC type workload is a great way to help build your skills. So I'd love to see that home lab series come back, and I'd like to hear more from what people in the community are doing on the podcast.
Yeah, and to echo that too, I'd love to see more community driven content, whether it's on the webinars, the podcast, blogs as well. So if you want to get something out there that you're working on that's cool, or some use case that you come across that you fixed that you're not seeing out there, would definitely love to see more of that community driven content. For me, it's just more content in general. Spreading the word out there on the socials and so forth. Just having that out there. Also having that visibility. One thing I know we've discussed before is possibly like a monthly live stream, community live stream as well. Maybe to our YouTube and LinkedIn, for example, maybe our Facebook page, but doing something like that to kind of have that regular cadence, and we can invite whoever on that to come in and just shoot the breeze, talk about things they're working on, or talk about things they're seeing out there, or maybe there's some cool technology they're looking at that everyone may not be thinking about. So those are kind of things that hit home for me as far as what I would like to see us doing better in 2026. With that being said, that was kind of the end of my driven agenda. So now it's like open mic time. So if there's any other thoughts or anything that you all are thinking about, let's propose a topic out there.
I think I'm pretty good. I just, the one thing I would like to say with it being December, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, wishing everyone some enjoyable holidays with your family and friends. Happy New Year. And just putting the emphasis on the New Year for World of EUC, New Year for EUC World, and for everyone else out there. So it's that's one thing I just wanted to point out.
Janna?
Yeah, I mean, it is the end of year wrap up for us all, I'm sure. And, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to everyone. And I really appreciate all the work and effort that everybody has done. I've appreciate meeting all the new people that I met through World of EUC since I've joined. It's been very meaningful for me, especially a woman of diversity, inclusion, seeing more people that are, that are very diverse, making sure that we don't feel left out. So, and I appreciate y'all making me feel very inclusive.
Sean?
Like Janna and Stephen said, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. I think we had a great year. I am really looking forward to 2026. And, I'm looking forward to seeing all of you at EUC World Amplify in September. I think 2026 is going to be a big year for EUC. This is going to be a year where I think we're going to see, a lot of cool new things from our founding partners, our sponsors, and even other companies in the EUC space. So, just get involved, join World of EUC, join the Slack channel if you're already not members of both, and engage with this community, because what we talk about as an organization, what we do as IT practitioners, is only going to become more important as more things, more technology becomes available, as AI starts to work its way into end user computing, right? I think we're going to be at the forefront of those conversations. And it's going to be really important to be involved for yourself and for your employer.
Yep. And I just want to add to everyone, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everyone, to the community. Again, thank you to all of our founding partners, our sponsors, the community members. Like what Janna said too, especially with our WEUC Empower, making sure we're getting back on top of that too next year. So I just want to say thank you to everyone, and I hope everyone has a happy holidays and has a great start to 2026. With that being said, make sure you sign up for the site, worldofeuc.org. That way you can get into the Slack. That way you can, see the newsletter, get the information. Also on worldofeuc.org is where you can look at the events for 2026, submit your call for paper, get the super, super, super early bird registration as well. Don't forget that Amplify Virtual is April 29th. Amplify in person is September 29th through October 1st in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And again, registration and call for papers are both open. So looking forward to seeing everyone there. Also, too, thank you again to our sponsors for their continued support. Our founding partners, Tenzig, Goliath Technologies, iGel, Liquidware, Omnissa, Nerdio, and Nutanix. Our channel founding sponsor, Choice Solutions. Our core sponsors for 2025, Google and Parallel. So thank you all again. Also, too, where you listen to this podcast, you can subscribe. You can go to our YouTube channel as well. And so looking, forward to our growth in 2026. With that being said, I think I'm going to close things out. It's Friday afternoon. I know Sean's going on vacation. I'm already on vacation. I'm sure Stephen and Janna are heading out too for the holidays. So go ahead and say thank you again to listening to the Frontline Chatter podcast, brought to you by the World of EUC, and we'll talk to you next time.
Thanks,
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Happy holidays.